Hi everyone, welcome to Prequel Live, another very special seasonal holiday themed edition of our favorite live stream. And we, I guess, need just a couple more minutes for everyone who has this event scheduled in their little widgets to get into this. And yeah, feel free to comment with where you're from, what you're up to, what the time is, where you are. Shout out Troy Sivan. And we are just about to get started. So this, for those who don't know, this is our community event. We are very excited to host them with a certain regularity these days. I am here to moderate this session. My name is Vlad, and I work with the Prequel team. We are set to have a great live today with a very special guest, and feel free to share this stream with whoever you think of your friends that might be interested in editing trends, in social media, in creation as a content, as a career. So hit that favorite playing button and spread the word. Today's very exciting guest is Justin Espejo, a trained architect turned full-time content creator and award-winning filmmaker and photographer at that. But before we dive into a super interesting discussion with him, I'd like to share a few refreshers on how these things are run over here at Prequel, just for those out here who are joining us for the first time for these. So the rules are be active. Feel free to ask questions in the question tab. It's at the bottom of your screen, the little bubble with the question, and you should be able to post your questions there, and my colleagues will select one or two most interesting ones for us to add into this discussion, which will be short, but we'll try to cover as much as possible ground. Then another thing to mind is no spam in the comments, no inappropriate language in the comments. Let's be on best behavior for these 15 to 20 minutes. And yeah, feel free to share your opinions in the chat, only positive ones, of course. So also, just for everyone to know, everyone who's commenting right now is about to get a knock-knock on their DM door from our company with some special gift surprises and stuff like that, so be mindful of that. And now we need our guest Justin to make a request to join the live stream. Let me check if he's already on that. Yeah, we are ready to accept Justin. Is it going through? Is it coming through? Justin.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey Vlad, how are you?
Nice to see you. Are you hearing and seeing me well? And
yeah. What about me?
Great.
Is it everything's clear?
The wonders of technology. Yeah, you're super close. Who would have thought 2023 we're finally getting video calls. Yeah. I'm super excited to welcome you here. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's a great pleasure to have you as second-time guest on our live stream series. And I'm sure some of the audience members might remember your live from the last time. But just for those who don't, for those who maybe join us for the first time, could you just briefly introduce yourself, cover what you're up to these days, what's going on in your career? So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to th say thanks to you guys, right? You for inviting me again. It's such a
of
like
course,
I had so much fun the
of
last time
course.
we did it the first time, and so I was really excited to do this live session again. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin. I'm Filipino. I'm from the Philippines, but I moved to Vienna like 2 years, more than 2 years ago now. And so I'm like you said a while ago, I'm actually a trained architect. I'm a licensed architect turned full-time content creator. And so I talk about things about photography, filmmaking, and all those stuff. So yeah, that's basically what's been taking up my time now.
Yeah, content creation, aren't we all, let's say, great. So how about we just jump in actually
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
into the whole content and creation thing. We don't have a structured script for this today,
yeah.
but we wanted to just talk about some reflection on the 2023
hmm
that's coming to pass, and maybe some of the trends, whatever caught our thoughts. Everyone has enough year-end content going in their lives, I'm sure. But yeah, as we bid farewell to the year, do you have, like in hindsight, any moments that come to mind um, from your personal creative journey
hmm
as maybe highlights or peaks that's made your professional year memorable to you and your community, I think?
Yeah, yeah. So right off the bat, I would say that the most memorable thing this year alone, just 2023, was back in March when I grew my account essentially from like 3,000 followers to 300,000 followers in like 30 days. So that was like
Crazy.
I never expected that, man. Like to be honest, my only goal was to go get to 10K
Yeah,
after 30 days. That was my only goal. And so that was to me still unbelievable to this day. Like I can't really believe it happened. But yeah, that's probably the most memorable, most significant thing
yeah,
that's happened this year for us, for me, primarily, and also my family, because again, like we said, like, going into content creation, you kind of
yeah.
dream of those things, right? Like it's nice to like you see it happening for other people, but to see it happen for yourself is out of
It's
out of this world, man. Like no
does it
words.
does it feel like still like did you accept it? Did you get into it, or are you still mesmerized by the fact?
Dude, I think I will never. That's one thing I'll never take for granted is like all that thing happening. To me right now, I still feel like I'm just like nothing's really changed, right? Personally, I'm still the same person. Like
Yeah,
I'm just another dude on the internet, and the numbers are nice. It's helpful as a content creator, sure, but it's not really like to me. It's not really the end all be all.
yeah,
Like
absolutely,
it just
absolutely.
helps us like reaching to more people, reaching out a lot more people with the message you're trying to say, right? Which is like, again, for me, that's talking about my love for photography and filmmaking and like being able to share it to now even more people is actually what's the most rewarding thing about it.
Yeah, I think it's also relatable even for us at the app. We are an app and shut up brand or whatever the kids say these days. But um, but I think when the app started out, getting to where we are with 2.5 million followers that we are right now on Instagram, it was crazy for a lot of our our team. It still feels insane. So I think I can relate to that. And actually, that's a nice segue into the next kind of item I
Mm.
wanted to maybe discuss. Um, what were your favorite maybe explosions on
hmm
the blogosphere on the radar? What are the biggest blips that became bombs? What are the biggest trends that grew and people that hit it out the park. I will maybe offer some of my favorites, my personal, and maybe
Yeah,
our
yeah.
teams. I'm excited to hear what people like you actually think.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So I think for me, as a general, as a general conversation, like on trends, right? I think the one thing that stood out to me this year is how a lot of people actually still value effort, quality, and creativity, right? In social media and all these platforms like TikTok, Instagram, it's sometimes easy to get lost into just like copying the next guy, right? Like
Yeah,
just doing the same thing the other person
exactly.
is doing, or like sometimes it can feel like people are just creating content for the sake of creating content, or like
Yes.
gaining audience, or whatever, attention. So to me, like seeing a lot more people talk about things I'm talking about. For example, seeing how you can talk about how to write a script in so many different ways, or like how you can talk about aperture in so many different ways,
Yeah.
was really refreshing. Like, right, like it's not just about telling people, oh, this is aperture, this is what it does, blah blah blah. And so I think that's why seeing people, amazing people who have now become my friends, like Wo Paolo, OMG Adrian, my Bea Chu, and even
Mm-hmm.
Riza from Life of Riza on YouTube, right? Like doing all these things that are kind of unique to them,
Right.
and really creative, and sometimes really out of the box. That's just like something you don't see to like everyone else is doing. That was super refreshing for me. Like really being appreciative that people actually still put in value, like appreciate the value of hard
Yeah.
work and effort that you put in. And so like,
Absolutely.
doing the extra 5 to 10% sometimes really helps you stand out from the
Right.
crowd. Is what I think.
I think it's also endearing or like I guess inspiring that so often these stories of all those people, your story again, proves that like dedication to your own craft, your own niche, your own way of doing things, your own lane
Yeah.
that you carve out, the niche that you carve out for yourself, the lane that you line out for yourself. It's always the dedication. It's the dedication that pays off, and
Yeah, yeah.
not like trying to copy and not trying to do the like dog trick. So yeah, that's also something comes to mind when I think about some of my favorite and our team's favorite cases or stories from this year. Like Tube Girl is like an easy
Mm.
example of like someone just like doing something out there, um, and just hitting like the right nerve at the right time, and becoming immediately the subject of like copying, but never being the copier in the first place. Like
Mm.
that's or people like Brittany Manson. I don't know if you know her. She's a fashion. She's a model,
Okay.
and she was doing these TikToks about how to walk, how to strut,
Uh-huh.
and like practicing with people on the streets, like in the middle of a city, and just like asking passersby to hold her phone, or like teaching how to recreate like Natalia Vodianova's or Kendall Jenner's walk from the iconic shows.
Mm.
And then like she was like a fixture in a very niche community, but then at some point like she now has a like single out that's like trending and like Spotify, whatever. She just like by doing her thing unapologetically, she became that, and it, it's crazy how people sometimes try to chase a trend instead
Mm.
of like
Yeah.
um, trying to do something without thinking about the numbers, because you get the numbers if you think of something good enough,
Yeah,
organically,
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually, not thinking about the numbers is what will help you get the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
numbers.
That's like for some people it's counterintuitive, I guess, but it's something we get back to as a thought with a lot of our guests on these live streams also, like Theo Vise we had a couple months ago. Like he does this like kind of comedy, light comedy
Mm-hmm.
inspired by routine situations. He was like, you like, it's about carving out your niche. Some other people, yeah, it's always about sticking to your
Yeah.
guns
Yeah.
and keep posting like with passion, fervor, and dedication. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man, like that's one of the
and
biggest learnings. It's just like sticking to your guns.
and if we talk about not maybe specific people, maybe any actually trends that
Mm.
you liked appearing, specific waves or like specific um, fa- fads that have not faded
Yeah,
yet or
yeah,
have, but you still like them to have
yeah.
appeared.
Yes, I think uh so again, I talk about filmmaking, right? And
Yeah,
I'm really into like learning how to make things more cinematic.
yeah,
And so it's nice, like the trend, one trend I really loved seeing is like how people are turning these reels into short cinematic sequences that are actually like sometimes they're a tutorial, but it's like cinematically
yeah,
done, or sometimes, so all like as combining elements from different kinds of aspects and concepts, right? And just turning it into this one central theme of like doing it cinematically. And so sometimes the tutorial doesn't have to be just like a sitting down talking head video telling someone
yeah,
how to do it, but it could be like
totally.
a whole cinematic sequence. You're outside, you're doing that stuff. So I've been enjoying seeing a lot of people, like the lengths of people doing those shots where it's like, oh, they went to some place so interesting just to talk about this
Yeah,
thing, and it's so short, right? So like
yeah,
these fun short cinematic sequences that are like really
yeah.
informative, really valuable. That's probably one of my favorite trends to come out this year. Aside from like, again, just breaking the mold of traditional like tutorials and stuff and like sit down, talking straight to the camera. That's one thing I really, really loved and
Yeah,
enjoyed. I think a lot of people are now also trying to do it, and they're like, so it's only getting better in my opinion.
yes. And it's then when you think about it, the tutorial for like how to create a piece of art becomes a piece of art
Exactly.
itself. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
makes it like it drives the point home
yeah,
so much better also, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes you need like a talking head
yeah, yeah,
to like
yeah,
really get around that one tool on Final Cut, but sometimes it can be also so much more rippling and get the engagement,
yeah,
get those
yeah,
seconds in if you excite them. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Totally agree
Um,
with that.
do you think there's a path for these things to evolve? Like, are the next tutorials going to be pieces of art about pieces of art about pieces of art? Like,
I think
are people
so.
gonna,
I think so, man. Because honestly, again, at least for me personally, I get I get sick of my own work when it's like all talking head stuff. Like looking at like a few months back, I was looking at my thing, my the stuff I've been making and posting, and I was like, I mean, I'm sick of my face. So
yeah,
what more like people who follow you, right? So it's nice to kind of change
it can
things
happen.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's nice to kind of change things up now and then. Like figuring out, keeping on like trying to keep on experimenting and figuring out new ways, refreshing ways to talk about the same old stuff. Because again, to me, none of this is original, right? And I think one of the
right.
problems a lot of creators face is like always thinking about, oh, I have to be original. This has to be something so unique no one's ever thought. But the truth is like nothing, at least to me, I believe nothing's really original, right? There's only
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
think about things and
yeah.
how you
If
explain things, how you
like
can.
if you're not Martin Scorsese's cinematographer, chances are you're not gonna reinvent the wheel to some extent. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
pressure, creators.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's like market oversaturation, market also like
Yeah, yeah.
art space oversaturation,
Hmm.
and changes in the algorithms every
Yeah.
day. Have you had any
like difficulties because of, for example, yeah, algorithm changes this year. How have you been working around that? Have you been consciously working against that or around that?
So to be honest, I don't really think about the algorithm. Like, I see Instagram posting about these, and I like, well, when I see it on my feed, I kind of read through it just to see like, okay, what's different. But I don't really like go that deep, do a
Yeah.
deep dive and like figure out like, oh, how can I use this to my advantage and all that stuff. Because like when it comes to challenges, there are only maybe three things I like to do or think about when I face these
Right.
challenges, regardless of like external factors, right? And like the first one is, to me, is always like remembering my why and understanding like why I'm doing this in the first place, right? Like things can like content
Right.
creation is not easy, especially if you want to do it right. I think a lot of people will be surprised with just how much work you need to do
Yes.
to get it right, right? And so to me, when it gets really hard, I try to remember my why, like figuring out like, and again, the why is different for everyone else, right? And to me, my why is like family. Like I just want to be,
Right.
I want a career that's designed around the life I want and not the other way around. That to me, that means like always being available to my daughter, my wife, my family, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
simply it. Like at the core of it all, it's not this grand dream of like always flying wherever I want or
Yeah.
like doing this. To me, it's just really all about family, and that's why I remember why I'm doing it in the first place. That's number one. And two, it's like I was mentioned, I kind of brushed on this a while ago already. It's like um, not being afraid to experiment, right? Because a lot of creators I see, a lot of like one of the challenges I see and I hear creators talk about is like sometimes they feel like they're boxed in a niche. Like
Yeah.
if they become known for one thing,
Yes.
they feel like they have to stick to that one thing, otherwise the algorithm will punish them or like people will
Mm-hmm.
start unfollowing them and all this stuff. And
Yes.
to me, it's just like not being afraid of that, like all constantly experimenting, as
Yes.
long as it's in the like it's not totally different, right? Like for
Yeah.
me, I'm talking about photography. I'm not all of a sudden gonna start talking about gardening.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
But
Right.
it's like to me, it's always experimenting. And
Right.
there's this quote I really love from Matt Diavella, and it's like from the very beginning when I started this whole thing, that's always stuck with me. And he always says this. It's like when you have zero subscribers, create as if you had a million.
Yeah.
And when you have a million subscribers, create as if you had zero. And to me, that's like super. Like that's been
Right.
really like a north star, a guiding principle to me. It's like you're here, you're doing this because you love it in the first
Yes.
place.
Yes.
Otherwise,
We
there's
we
no point.
we again, speaking for the brand, we're also, it just becomes so clear because also, it's a market that's like booming
Hmm.
all the time, and we just came to realize that it's impossible without like experimenting,
Yeah, yeah.
um, both in the like, I don't know, development of the app
Mm.
and development of new features, but also in the sense of even the public facing, the
Yeah.
socials of our brand. Like you always need to play around with formats
Hmm.
yeah, like this year we kind of try to lean on into memes because we just sometimes we never did it, but then like this year it's like, let's throw in some silly jokes for silly people and for not just silly people. It might as well work, and sometimes they do work, and get us some brand awareness, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's, I think the takeaway here, if we add it up to what we mentioned earlier, is carve out your own niche,
Yeah.
but make change and transformation part of that niche, kind of on
Hmm.
another level above this level. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. And again, it's like try to be, because you are the niche,
yeah.
right? Like so
Yeah.
I would say like being afraid of talking about things that actually matter to you or things that you like is kind of detrimental to that fact. Like if you
Absolutely.
think about just doing this one thing, you're probably gonna end up unhappy anyway. So like why not
Abs-
why not experiment?
Absolutely. And I guess something else we want to ask is Looking forward to 2024 because this like year-end kind of
Yeah,
conversation. What do you think? What's going to be the next big thing? What's you gonna work on next year? But also in the global, like generally in the context of content creation professionally, what people will be jumping on, or what will explode next
yeah.
year?
So I think at least in the realm of short form content, I would say um, it will like for you to stand out, it's not gonna be enough to just give people the what is contents, I would say. Like it's nice to talk about like what is aperture, what is shutter speed, what is focal length, and you know, it's nice, it's okay to make content about that, right? But if you want to stand out, you
Absolutely.
gotta kind of think about like the next step. Oh, like okay, this is aperture, but what is it for? What does it do? How can you do it? Right? It's kind of guiding the people you want to reach onto that next step. Like instead of just giving them information, give them actually like actionable steps that they can do. Right? So I think that's one thing that
Yes.
we'll definitely see much more of because I think this year there's been so many people who's just been creating, you know, on that what is content. You know, just giving information, giving people like the definition of something, for example, like what is a rice, or what is a, you know, all these things. So what is contents? And I think because now you have a plethora of like different ways, different creative ways you can talk about things, different styles, different formats. Next year is just like I'm expecting to see a lot more higher, like a higher quality of content, just because
Yes.
now you can actually see a lot of different ways that you can, you know, kind of learn from,
Yes.
instead of like when in the beginning when it was just all about like,
Yes.
you know, using phones and just like, you know, doing random content. Now there's actually people are actually putting effort into the production,
Right.
the lighting, the scripting, and all that. So I would say like the content game, at least for short form, is even gonna get better
Yes.
moving forward.
And also, as technologies kind of spiral into constant development
Yeah.
and constant progress, some things become way easier and kind of accessible, and like
Yeah.
nobody needs hour-long tutorial now for something that needed an hour-long tutorial 5 years ago
Yeah.
or even a year ago. Yeah, so like people gonna just speed run through like film school in 5-minute tutorials next year. Yeah. Okay. What do you think? What do you think apps like Prequel are gonna be up to next year? Do you have
No,
any predictions
I think
or?
I think you guys are gonna be up against even better competition, I would say, because I don't know, man. Like I get a lot of emails and requests and notifications from different apps. Like I would say, like they're similar to Prequel, and they're all trying to put out better stuff, better features, trying to figure out like what creators actually need. So I think in that sense, in the same way that I'm like inspired by other all of these other creators, and I'm like trying to push my own limits, I would say Prequel,
Right.
you guys are definitely gonna have better competition, which in turn will become will produce better features for creators like me. You
Yeah.
know, for
Yes.
creators who are like, you know, who need these tools, like you say, like these are like technologies we didn't have before starting
Yeah.
out, because
Yeah.
so many things are easier to do with an app. Like sometimes I'm surprised with the, like things you can do with
Absolutely.
Prequel, for example, right?
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
would say, like I've seen a lot of people like asking for this feature, blah blah blah, and I would say like, you know, it's just gonna be better, right? Like
Yeah.
not just in terms of trends, but in like helping creators, you know, come up with fresh new ideas just based off of like features of the app.
So I guess Prequel 2024, sleeping with our with one eye open, and but feeling grateful to be part of the progress
Yeah.
for the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are like at the forefront, right? So that's also
Thank
one
you.
thing. I'm sure I'm sure these apps are looking to you is the thing.
You know,
And that's
heavy is the
really how it
crown,
goes.
heavy is the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's both a blessing and a curse, I would say.
That you just booked yourself another live stream like next year. Let's do it. Like put it in your calendar.
Yeah. Let me know,
Great.
man. Let me know.
Yeah. No, but generally we would love to stay in touch with Justin, and people like you are definitely what inspires us to progress our features, progress our built-in content, to progress our everything. So it means a lot to have recognition from people like you. I think actually that's about time we have for
Mhm.
today. Everyone's, Christmas fever anyway, and I would hate to take more of your time. Thank you everyone who showed up today. Thank you to everyone who commented and pressed those little buttons on their glass bricks. Reminded that don't be alerted because you might be contacted by our company in the personal chats in the DM. So look out for that. And Justin, always a pleasure. Hope to have more of these whole year around. So
Same here. Same here. Like I always enjoy doing these live streams with you guys. So thanks
great,
so much for inviting me.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Let's wrap this up and see you probably in 2024. Bye.
Bye everyone.